What if we could massively minimize your muscular wastage and detraining and losses in strength when you're injured? And you don't have to actually voluntarily do anything. If you get injured and you're put in a sling or you're in bed rest, one of the worst things you can do for your body is nothing, is just to rest. You see, my boy Chris DeCranis, he's in a sling right now because he injured his shoulder in an Olympic lifting competition. I'm making this for you, Chris. We're talking about how we can mitigate muscular atrophy and detraining. And detraining, like basically some of the neurological and functional losses that we see as a result of not doing the activity, not strength training anymore. What if you just stop strength training for 3 months? What if you just stop training one side of your limb because it's in a cast and sling for 4 weeks, okay? What are the effects we're gonna see on the injured side of the body? You're gonna see muscular atrophy. The muscle will waste away and get smaller because if you don't use it, you lose it, okay? Then you're going to see losses in strength. You're going to see losses in neuromuscular ability, which you will all have to spend time to regain back in your rehabilitation program. Now, what if I told you, what if we could massively minimize your muscular wastage and detraining and losses in strength when you're injured? And you don't have to actually voluntarily do anything. Well, welcome, electromuscular stimulation, okay? So this is where we attach electrodes to the skin. They go to a unit, and the unit sends an electrical impulse to the skin, which then conducts like a action potential and a nerve impulse like electrical current down to the muscle, which stimulates a contraction. Great. Now, what is this actually going to do? See, there's 2 studies. This guy called Van Loon did. So he immobilized one leg of his volunteers with a cast for 5 days, drilled holes in the cast to then apply the EMS, the muscular stimulation, to half the volunteers. And the others, he did nothing. The immobilization caused a 3.5% reduction in the cross-sectional area of the quadriceps. Now, when he did twice a day electrical muscular stimulation, they saw no significant differences in the losses of muscle. In just 5 days, one group lost 3.5%. He did twice a day EMS, no losses, or very minimal was seen, nothing significant. So it's pretty powerful. It's a very practical application now to rehabilitation for people with an immobilized limb. Now, we're not just talking about cross-education and training the opposite side like I've talked about in my previous posts, but now we're talking about, we're going to EMS my athletes who are willing to and open to invest in it, and my friends and my colleagues. Like I'm telling, anytime you want an immobilized limb, get an EMS stim unit. Get like a stim kit. Attach electrodes up and down the site, okay? If you can tolerate it and the stitching can tolerate it, you want to do it around the site of injury as well. And if there's, of course, no pain above a 2, 3 out of 10, okay, within that range. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cause the muscular tendon unit to contract involuntarily, because the unit's going to be setting the electrical impulse. So then there's no actual mechanical loading going through the tissue. And because there's no actual mechanical loading is very important for stimulating a hypertrophy response within a muscle. Okay, you need mechanical loading. We're looking at like above 30, 40-ish% of your 1 rep max to actually stimulate and drive and create an environment for adequate hypertrophy response. But we're not talking about developing hypertrophy here. We're talking about managing rehabilitation, minimizing muscle wastage, neuromuscular wastage, and strength losses. And so by using a stim kit on Chris, using that stim kit on your arm up and down the site, you're going to see improvements, reductions in the cross-sectional area of that muscle, if we extrapolate from this study. And in another study, Van Loon actually did EMS on comatose patients. So guys, please, if I ever get in a coma, one of you motherfuckers, please come to my hospital and start stimming my whole body. Please. This is... sound ridiculous, but I'm dead serious because like he actually did it. Biopsies showed that patients were seeing a 20 to 30% reduction in the size of their muscle fibers during their hospital stay for comatose patients. So I don't want to, you don't want to just melt away, you know? The one group was melting away in front of their faces. The other one was keeping some of the muscular size, cross-sectional area of that muscle that they had with that twice a day EMS, which warded off the atrophy. Now, the approach is not as good as actual mechanical stimulus, mechanical loading, yeah, okay? But if you are at a point where you cannot mechanically load that tissue or your body, you're in a coma, you know, it's dead serious, I'm in a coma, you're in a coma, someone you know is in a coma, and you're like, man, they're going to be pissed when they wake up and they just drop 10, 20 kilos of hard-earned muscle mass. Great. If you really care about me, come to the hospital, stim my whole body every day. It's quite a commitment, but damn, that's good. Like, we can now start thinking about the whole rehabilitation and medical intervention management protocol way differently from this very reactive, wait, rest, and just wait till you can get out of the sling and all the stitches heal. Oh, boo-boo, your stitches they're gonna come out. You'll be okay. You'll be okay, man. Okay? We can stitch it back up. Okay? If something happens and we get a little too crazy with the EMS, right? But now we're saving time. We can get back to doing the activities that we want to do. Whether you're an average individual who just wants to get back to functioning day to day, you don't want to lose as much muscle, you're an athlete who loves your sport, or maybe you're pro. Maybe this is money. Maybe that extra 3 weeks, 2 weeks you can save is $500,000, $100,000. It is potentially winning and losing, right? There's all types of variety of different stakes that this type of proactive management protocol can actually apply to. And to me, it's like, let's use this information that we know, because a lot of people lose most of their muscle mass during these times of disuse and not using the actual, like, a lot of people lose a lot of muscle mass during these times of being very sedentary. Okay, so let's take advantage of that and understand that, apply some of these principles and the technology and resources and tools that we have access to that aren't that expensive, and use it as a lifelong tool and resource that we can use to manage our clients, our athletes, ourselves, people we care about, so we can spend more time feeling, performing, and looking better.